Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. This video is going to be about the Safariland QLS quick locking system. So on one of my previous videos, I talked about the new holster that I got from Safariland, the 6360 RDS-8972. This is made to hold a Glock 47 with a Surefire X300 and an RMR sight. The belt mount here. So in order, to wear this, you have to slide your belt through the little slots right here. Well, for a duty belt, that means you have to take the buckle off of the belt. You have to weave it off, weave that little retaining strap off. If your belt already has something attached onto the belt itself, like an OC pouch or something like that, and it's in front of the holster, then you have to weave that off, take your old holster off, put new holster on, and then weave that stuff back on there and weave that buckle back on there. If you're getting a brand new belt, brand new holster, still you have to weave the little buckle off, put it on there, and then boom. But if you ever want to take it back off, you'd have to do that whole process again, weave everything off. So the QLS is a remedy to that. You would attach the part of the QLS to the belt and leave it, and then you can detach the entire holster from that thing and put it on something else, which is pretty cool. So right out the box is one particular style of order that I got. You can order these things in different, I guess you say, combinations. You could buy it to where you get just the fork and one plate. You can order it to where you get a fork and two plates. You can buy just the fork, you can buy just the plate. Get them in different colors, and I think there might be a couple different combinations as far as the number of the items that you get. So the fork itself would stay permanently attached to the holster itself, and then the belt mount would attach to this, and then you would weave that onto the belt, and this stays on the belt forever. And then when you want to put holster on, you just slide that down in there, and then boom, it locks into place. And then to get it undone, you just squeeze and pull up, and it comes undone. So there is another version of this called the, I want to say it's called QLS 22L, and it is a version that is made for corrections, like jails and prisons. There is a picture of it here at the bottom. There's really not much to be able to kind of look at and discern what exactly it is. It's just an extra locking feature. I'd imagine probably how it works is right in there where that goes down into the spot. It's probably just something that you have to press to get something to come out of that, so that you can then press these in and make it come up. But I don't know for sure because I don't have one in front of me to play with. But anyway, so like I said, this will permanently attach to the holster, and then this could go on one belt, and this could go, as long as I had another T-slot, it would go onto another belt as well. So you get these three things, and then you get a bag of screws and a wrench. So we're going to go and put this bad boy on. So it comes with the wrench. It comes with, I don't know what the name of these things are, but these things will fit down into there and be pretty flush so that the screw goes into it. I guess you call it I don't know what kind of nut it is, but it's a nut of some sort. But it's got these little talon looking things that will grip down into these holes so it won't turn. Right? So pop those in there. You get some small ones. Let me get some of these out for comparison here. So you get a very long one, a standard one, and then a really short one in there. And so you see the bag has got multiple sizes in there. You're going to want the 3 long ones set aside. So I'll find those, push them out to there. Where did the other one go? Oh, that's it. Boom, 3 long ones. And then you can push the others aside because you don't need those, because you can still use the original ones that come with the holster itself. But we'll just go ahead and undo those. Take them all the way out. So as I'm working behind the camera, it's a little bit tricky because I'm having to basically like hug the tripod sort of, or straddle the tripod. But why would you want this? If you have 2 different belt setups, that would be a reason why you would want this design. So that you could leave one of these on, let's say, your regular patrol uniform belt, and then the other could go on your tactical belt setup. Or you could have one of these mounted into your safe. You could have it mounted into a locker. You could have it mounted into the your vehicle. So for like patrol purposes, you could have it mounted to your console. You could have it mounted to somewhere in the trunk. That way you get to jail, take someone to jail. You can't take your gun inside, right? You could put your gun in a lockbox there, provided the jail. Or if you had one of these mounted to inside the trunk, you could just completely detach the entire holster from your duty belt and then lock it in place where it's hanging at in the trunk or whatever. So take this guy right here and we'll be pressing. So you want to make sure that you get them correctly, because if not, it just won't work. So you got to think like when you see if I can show that. All right, so you can see the little holes right in here. You see my skin showing through, and then these little teeth right here. So when you go to close it, boom, it locks in place. So you want to make sure that this is positioned properly. If you had it positioned this away, it just wouldn't work. So it has to be on there a certain way. All right. Now these original screws are not going to work on for that. These original screws will work for mounting this to the receiver plate. What you need for this is those 3 long ones. And so we'll get this positioned. And you got to think about how you want this positioned as well. So you can do a cant forward kind of position, so that let's pretend my hand is the belt. So this would be a canting forward position, or you can have it a little bit more of a straighter kind of down position. It's really user preference. I prefer a more downward kind of position. I don't know the history behind why that forward cant position has come about, but I want to say it was called something like the FBI cant or something like that. I'm sure there's some interesting history behind it. but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But it is a pretty popular thing to see the holsters canted like that. You would even see that canting forward with like your older school like leather holsters and stuff, like a pancake holster or something. You would have actually 2 slots on an older leather pancake holster, and they would to the forward of the holster there would be one on the bottom, one on the top, and that would be so that you could get that forward cant on there like that. Or you could use the bottom one to kind of have it more of a like straight draw up kind of position. There are I have seen some mods that you can do to a holster to kind of really get rid of that more aggressive cant. But I think, if I remember correctly, some of those mods kind of involve some cutting and stuff like that. And when it comes to these style holsters, I just don't recommend doing a whole lot of stuff like that, because you don't want the damn thing to fail. Now, the most that I will do with one of these things is I will sand out the interior of the holster itself to be able to make room for the grip switch on the Surefire X300. I had to do that to a couple of my other Safariland holsters in order for my Glock 17 with Surefire X300 and grip switch to be able to fit into it. Otherwise, that grip switch puts enough material outwards to press into the holster that you just can't get the whole gun to holster into the holster. And so, like I said, that would be the most of what I would do as far as modifications to one of these kind of holsters. As far as like actually cutting into them, I just wouldn't do that. All right, so here is the fork system installed into the holster. So now this thing can go click into the duty belt. It can go click into the tactical belt. It can go click into a vest mount. It can go click into a mount that's inside a safe. Multitude of different setups you can do. And being able to keep the gun inside the holster. That way you don't have to take the whole gun out and do the unload process. You can just keep the gun in the holster, load it up like normal, and then just detach holster from wherever it's mounted at and then put it onto your belt. So there's that. Next I'll take the receiving plate and then mount it onto the belt, slot. So those would go in like that. All right, and I'll get a couple of these kind of started just to be able to keep them in position. They hold, and like I said, you can use the original screws that came out of it because those will fit perfectly fine into it. It's just the fork has to have those long ones. Well, I feel it. Come on, go in there. This is also a tedious thing to do when you have big fingers. Oh, and I forgot to put the little washer thing on there. Duh. Okay. All right, take this one back out, put the washer on there. So this is the longest part of this process is just setting the thing up. But once you get this thing set up, taking the holster off of a belt and moving it to another belt is a fairly it's a fairly quick process. Hence its name, quick locking system. But setting the damn thing up initially is not quick at all. All right, so we got that thing on here, and again, you know, talking about cants and stuff like that, so you can kind of position this thing to where you kind of want it, and I want more of a straight draw, so kind of get that lined up just right. We'll get another one of these special nuts here. Push that in from the back. Boom. In there. Kind of. Alright, pressed in. Alright. Alright, so I got that set in there. Now I can kind of start to tighten them a little bit. Get them a little bit in there, and then I can kind of move this thing around. While it's in there, this thing's still, you know, a little loose, so get it positioned where I want it. And like I said, I want more of a straight draw, so that's pretty well positioned. Now I just have to tighten up everything. Alright, get these tightened up here. So with this setup, I've got 2 receiver plates. Now, it obviously doesn't come with the belt slot, so you have to buy, if you buy the fork and 2 receiver plates, you will have to buy another belt slot in order for this one to work, which is fine, because I've got a few more Safariland holsters that I could take the plates off of and be able to use one of those for this. So now I will have one mounted to my uniform patrol belt, and then the other will go onto a more tactical belt. I'll make sure I get these things tight so that they don't walk themselves out. Now you could put Loctite on these to make sure they're not going to walk out on you, but in my experience with these things is, after the years of using them and training with them, having them on, putting them through the ringer, I have not come across an issue where I found any of these coming loose on me. So, but you can still put Loctite on there. There's some people out there who believe in putting Loctite on everything. All right, so this goes onto the belt and it stays there. And then when you want to put the gun on there, boom, clicks into place. It will meet their level 2 retention pull standards, and I forget what that terminology is, but one of their things they do for testing with level 2 retention is they put a lot of extraneous force on the holster and try to make it break off from the belt or shear off the belt, and it's not easy to do that with this. So it does meet that standard on their level 2 retention. I wish I would have remembered the name of that terminology, but it escapes me right now. Yeah, I don't immediately see it on there, but anyway, boom, comes unclicked pretty easily, and then clicks into place, locks into place, and then you have to squeeze both of these and then push upwards. It's not something that I think would come undone in a struggle. Like it's locked in there. Like it's not coming out. You have to press these two things in order to get it to come out. And if you're worried about that, if you're worried about something happening and it's just coming loose, that's where the QLS 22L version comes into play. That's made for the correction side and has an extra locking mechanism down here at the bottom to be able to prevent an easy disconnect, I guess you could say. But like I said, I don't foresee that happening. Of all the people who use this system now and go through training classes with them and use and abuse it, like, no one has reported that the freaking thing has come off. So it's a pretty solid foundation. All right, so now this is ready to go into service, so to speak, and then all I have to do is get another belt slot mount to put onto this one and then keep it on a different belt. And then I have the ability to switch holsters, or take the same holster and switch it around on different setups. Pretty darn neat. All right. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.